What's up, y'all? It's your boy Varkees Charles, man, and I'm back with another video. And you read the title correctly. I am done trucking. Trucking, man. I'm done. Um, it's been a quick little journey. To give y'all a little background, the company that I got my CDL through was KLM Transport out there in Burns Harbor, Indiana. Got my CDL through them. It was like maybe a three-week training for me. I already had my permit, so about no more than 4 weeks for sure. Like 3 weeks of training. Right, boom. Got my CDL. It was a little stressful at first. Didn't think I'd make it, but I thugged it out and I made it through and I accomplished it and I got my CDL. So boom. I got my CDL to hook me up with a trainer maybe like 2 weeks or so later. And trainer was cool. And then we got the ball rolling. Our first stop was in Victorville, California. Starting from Mississippi, Jacksonville, Mississippi. So we started driving. The first 2 days was cool, you know what I'm saying? I was seeing the country, you know, it was a nice scenery, being able to travel, you know, things of that nature. You know, it was fun. Getting in that truck, seeing over everybody. We was rolling. After the first 2 days, I said, man, I don't know about this. So boom. Moral of the story, in trucking, it's not just a regular 9 to 5. That's for one. Okay, you know how you got your regular 9 to 5. You will go home, go to sleep, wake up, eat breakfast, take a shower, whatever you got to do. You commute to work, do your work, commute back home. That's it. No, so you're pretty much living in that truck. Because I did over the road. You're living in that truck 24/7. And on top of that, if that truck is not moving, you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. So if your truck or anything like that breaks down, you're not getting paid. And that happened to us too. I was on the road, broke down twice. Fortunately for me, I was on training pay, so I ain't have to worry about that. My trainer, I don't know. To my knowledge, he was not getting paid. Another thing you got to deal with, like I said before, this is not just a regular 9 to 5. This is literally a lifestyle. A lifestyle. So meaning, whatever you eat out there on the road, whether it's at truck stops or you have time to go to a grocery store, you either gonna cook inside your truck or you're gonna eat out. In my situation, I was eating out. I was eating chicken wraps and salads, pizza here and there. I was trying not to get fat on the road. You know what I'm saying? So I was very conscious of what I was putting in my body. So my diet was still okay, but I got tired of eating the same thing every day. So I didn't really have a real meal. Right? On top of that, me personally, I feel like I didn't really have a passion for driving or even like driving that much to be driving 11 hours a day. You know, but if you love driving, you like seeing the country, I say go for it. You know, driving 11 hours a day, it seemed like it's not crazy, but when you do that and you got like 70,000 pounds, you know what I'm saying, that you hauling, it can be draining. It can be draining for sure. On top of the driving, you know, for a long period of time, just imagine you drove for like 11 hours, right? You know, because we have a 14-hour clock. So you only legally drive for 14 hours. I mean, legally drive for 11 hours. So imagine driving for 11 hours. You're tired, wiped out. You get to a truck stop, there's no parking. Bro, that was so annoying. Like, I couldn't deal with that. Like, I wanted to park and go to sleep. No. That's why sometimes you ever been on a road trip and you see some of these semi trucks on the ramp or on the side of the road. If they don't have their flashes on, 9 times out of 10 they're in their sleep because the truck stop didn't have any parking and that's all they can really do. But technically that's not legal, words of my trainer, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, parking was terrible. You getting off 11-hour shift and you can't find no parking, you're cooked. Plain and simple, you're cooked. Another reason why I didn't really like trucking was because I was kind of putting my life in danger per se, like especially like driving in weather conditions. I remember I was driving in Oklahoma and I was driving in the middle of a thunderstorm. It was almost, actually, no, it was really a tornado storm because it came from my phone. It was tornado warning. and I was driving at least maybe 40 miles an hour on the expressway. And while me driving, mind you, it's nighttime too. I'm driving, nighttime, rain pouring down. I got hail hitting the truck. I'm driving. My trainer is like dead asleep. I went on him to check on me like, hey, you good? Want to pull over? No. He didn't ask me. He didn't check on my well-being. I had to thug it out, bro. I had to thug it out. So I put my big boy pants on. I said, all right, man, look, I'm going to thug it out. Keep it moving. Drive slow. Don't hit nothing. Boom. I made it through the storm. Man, I had hit a dust storm out in New Mexico. It was so bad that they had to shut I-10 down. So we had to stop at a truck stop, wait like an hour or so to get back on the road. I've never seen a dust storm a day in my life. You know what I'm saying? I stay in the Midwest, in Chicago. It was crazy to see though. I ain't gonna lie, it was crazy to see. But weather conditions, not my thing. And then when I first got into trucking, maybe like the first couple of days, I was dealing with a lot of wind too. So I'm not really too concerned on the wind, but the wind was a little scary. So when you're driving, the wind is literally pushing the truck. You pretty much gotta just don't panic. You know what I'm saying? Don't hit the steering wheel too hard because you end up getting off the road. But the wind, I can bear with the wind. But the thunderstorms and the dust storms, nah, I ain't gonna kick with that. So that was that. Another thing that I didn't like was the mountains. The mountains. And I didn't even know some of these states even had mountains. Like I know my geography, but I didn't have any knowledge on certain states having mountains. West Virginia, Tennessee, a little bit of Kentucky, Missouri, and New Mexico had like some of the worst mountains ever, man. I promise you. The worst mountains ever. And there were cases where I was driving up a mountain, and mind you, we got our truck total with the tractor and the trailer was like 70,000 pounds, but I think we were hauling like maybe 38,000 pounds going up and down mountains. Bro, I promise you, it's scary, especially going down. Like you feel that force, and you know I'm riding a Jake brake. For those who know what a Jake brake is, it's pretty much slowing down your truck. You know, the truckers know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was riding down on Jake brake. Man, it was an experience. And I knew then, I was like, nah, this ain't for me. Because if I know, nah, it is not worth it. Like, I don't want to put my life in danger. Of course, I don't feel like, if I don't feel like I'm safe or anything, I can pull over, whatever the case may be, if it were to start raining. But driving down the mountains, that ain't gonna cut it for me. It ain't worth it. I don't care if y'all paying me $2,000 a week. It ain't gonna stop. I mean, it ain't gonna work for me. It's not gonna work. But on top of all that, I do have to give myself some type of credit for stepping out my comfort zone and facing my fears. You know, growing up as a kid and even as a teenager and young adult, I drive a lot. And seeing those trucks on the expressway, I never would have thought I'd be doing something like that. And I did, driving that type of vehicle in different conditions, seeing over everybody and everything. It was cool. I faced my fears, I got my comfort zone, and that's that. But another reason, on top of everything that I mentioned before in this video, another reason why I didn't stay with trucking was because I didn't have a strong enough why. I'm not in major debt. I don't have any kids or a wife to take care of. I'm not in desperate need of money, me per se. I'm pretty good with money. So it really wasn't that deep for me. Originally, I wanted to go to flight school, and I got into trucking. And flight school, for those who don't know, flight school was like over $100,000. And I didn't have that. So I got into trucking. I think I was going to stack up for 2 years or so, and I'm out. You got trucks falling. You got planes falling out the sky, stuff blowing up. I said, nah, I don't want to be no pilot. Not right now. Let me wait for everything to die down. But overall, I didn't have a strong enough why, and that ultimately led me to leave trucking. But this story doesn't end on a bad note, because at the end of the day, I got my CDL, and I have that forever. If I want to go back in trucking, if I ever reach a point in my life where I need to go back in trucking, or I, just want to try it out again, give it another shot, I can always go back. companies are willing to pick me up right then and there. My record is clean, and yeah, I can always go back. Hopefully, I don't, but everybody know how life is. Life is crazy. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So that's it. That's my story. I am officially done with trucking. I do have another job lined up. I made sure I had interviews lined up before I made my decision. Um, I got to give thanks to God that He blessed me with a job, and I continue to do what I got to do, save up, do what I got to do, and the money is good too. Like the money is ultimately what I was going to make my first year of trucking, give or take, maybe a little bit more. But it really depends on what you're hauling. But for me, no wife, no kids, I ain't gonna rent right now, so it kind of worked out in my favor. But that's my story. If you're interested in trucking, I can always say try it out, see it's for you or not. But as you can see, it's not for everybody. At this point in my life, it's not for me, and that's my story. At the end of the day, you got to remember one thing: if they can do it, so can you. Achieving greatness awaits. I'm out.